Green light.
Okay. We're gonna, before we open tonight on the first case, we're gonna hear from the Director of Planning and Zoning, Mrs. Amy Mordock, on the new procedures that we have now.
Good evening. I'm Amy Mordock, the Director of Planning and Zoning, and thank you for giving me space this evening to talk about some of the updates to our process for this board. Just to let you know that your clerk, Kathy Maxwell, has been working with Vivian Swenson, the zoning administrator, with me and with all of staff to make sure that we get all of the meeting packet materials available to the public on the county's website, on the boards and commissions page, and on the Agenda Center. So the Agenda Center is where the public can go to find all of the public hearing notices for the Board of Appeals. And a week before the public hearing is set, the staff report, an area image of where the project is located, and that site plan that is or if it's a subdivision application that is affiliated with the project, will be available for the public to view. And this evening is the first evening that the Board of Appeals will be live streamed. So now the public can tune in to various resources, QACTV's website, our Facebook page, and also, what are the other? YouTube, and projecting on the cable network as well.
Breezeline, yes.
Yeah, so on Breezeline Cable. So your meetings will now be available to the public. We're also going to work on putting an announcement out to the public that these meetings are available to be viewed, but we're also going to be very deliberate in announcing how the Board of Appeals meetings are a little bit different from other public meetings. As a quasi-judicial board, the way that the public can interface with applicants and applications and submit public comment as testimony in cases, and how, as a part of a board, quasi-judicial board, you're conducting a hearing, and so applicants have to attend in person to give testimony, and that is different from how the county commissioners' meetings are run and how planning commission meetings are run. So we'll do our due diligence in making sure that we're providing this access to the public with your project materials and with viewing the hearings, but also making sure that the public can participate in the way that is outlined in your procedures, in the Board of Appeals procedures. So.
Very good.
And we have a wonderful team in QACTV who has helped to get us all set up. There will be no technical glitches tonight or ever. And if there, for some unforeseen circumstance that is beyond anyone's control, they'll be able to fix it. So, yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we'll have the first case. Case number BOA 25060222, Timothy and Jacqueline Nagy. Please come right up. Stand up and take the following oath, please.
Anybody else? Is there anybody else that needs to be
Yeah,
sworn?
anybody else want to testify in this case? Okay. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you are about to give will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Okay, thank you. Mrs. Maxwell, have all postings and notification requirements been satisfied?
Yes.
And any matters relating to jurisdiction of this board will now be heard. Let the record show there were none. Department of Planning and Zoning will now be heard from. Did you-
We're here to discuss project number BOA 25-06-0222 for Timothy and Jacqueline Nagy, who is proposing a variance to reduce the required 50-foot yard setback to 22 to construct a rear deck. Under section 18-1-19E, a 50-foot rear yard setback is established and required within the NC 15 zoning district. More specifically, tax map 57, parcel 111, lot 3, totals .757 acres and is located on Schuyler Avenue in Chester. The black outline identifies the subject parcel. Parcel is zoned NC 15. The site is located in the critical area with an LDA designation. There are non-tidal wetlands on the site as indicated on the green. Lot 3 was created in 1990. Historic zoning permitted a minimum lot width of 60 feet. In 2004, zoning changed to current designation of NC 15, which requires a 70-foot lot width. Lot is currently legally non-conforming. As noted, the NC 15 zoning district requires a 50-foot rear setback, and the applicant is requesting a reduction to 22 foot in order to construct a rear deck. This slide illustrates the proposal, but is not to scale. The proposal is comparable to other lots within the neighborhood with similar sized lots. The historic zoning district, when the dwelling was constructed, compared to the current zoning district, does present a significant challenge for constructing a rear deck on the lot. Zoning staff has no objection to the approval of this variance. The applicant must present clear evidence of the practical difficulty.
Just one point of clarity, is it to 22 feet or to 20 feet? I believe the,
Setback should be 22 feet.
because the application says 20, so I just want to make sure we are, and the drawing that they've provided shows 20 at the shortest point.
Yeah, it does. And there's a 22 on there also. Here.
Yeah, but at the closest point, it's 20, and the
Yes.
application says 20.
Looks like there's a set of steps that comes off there somewhere, and it's,
I can tell you it's advertised at 20, which is what I cared about too, so.
I just want to make sure we're making the right decision on it.
Are you through, Bill?
I am.
Oh, you are? Okay, I'm sorry. When they're hear from you. Wait a minute, I've got to, we want to enter the applicant exhibit 1 through 6. You have that, don't you?
I don't have it here, 1 through 6. I'm unaware of what that is.
The application received the deed of the subject property, zoning critical area colored in. It's on here. Site plan showing proposed deck prepared by fence and deck connection. Building permit, denial letter.
It's basically all the documents for
All
your
the
application.
documents.
And we have to move in planning and zoning staff report as well.
Yeah. When they're hear from you.
Chairman Dean, members of the board, thank you for this opportunity to speak to us regarding our application for a variance regarding our proposed deck to our home. It has been a long-awaited hope of ours to have this deck added to our home to enjoy friends, family. Our application for building permit was denied. We sort of feel trapped now because, after all, we pay our county taxes and a mortgage on a property that we feel we can't use and expand on to make it our own. It is our opinion that a 50-foot restriction is a bit extreme. Be it as it may, there is no road or legal right-of-way directly behind us, just wooded acreage. All we request is to use our backyard property so we and our family can enjoy it, make it our own since we are paying for it anyway. When we purchased this property, we were unaware of the county setback restrictions. The builder made no mention of this. Had this been disclosed, we probably would have looked elsewhere. All we have for access to the backyard from our home is a simple flight of stairs off the kitchen with no landing. The other end of the house is the other point of access, however, that's blocked off to satisfy insurance liabilities. Since we have no deck, we can't use that entrance. We would very much like to have our deck built as proposed because it would provide us with another means of egress, and it would be much safer for us and everyone overall. With concerns to safety, my wife and I are quickly approaching our retirement years, and going down a simple flight of stairs in the winter puts us and everyone at risk of slips, falls, with the possibility of seriously being hurt. For the board's edification, we have selected a reputable builder, one I'm sure you're all familiar with. They are local and are considered in the area a leader in the industry. They are remarkably familiar with the building codes in Queen Anne County and will not cut corners. We are confident that our deck will be constructed using the best quality materials and within county codes, with safety being a top priority. So we urge you, the members of the board, to approve our application for a variance for our proposed new deck. Chairman Dean, members of the board, if you would allow, I have taken the liberty of creating some copies of the proposed deck and would like to enter those for the board's review.
Can you bring them up there, please?
I didn't know how many board members there were, so I only needed 3.
Okay, thank you.
What's that, 7?
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna enter this as applicant Exhibit 7 for the record.
We'll have to share one.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, hold on. Hold on. There's another.
I say if you have an extra, if not, it's okay. Thank you.
So one of these doors shown on the drawings here from your house is currently blocked off and unusable?
Correct, the double door
The
is
double
blocked
doors?
off, yes.
So we have the kitchen doors with 4 steps going down,
Yep.
2 big dogs and a little dog, a husband with a really bad knee. And I have fallen down those stairs before, and it's quite painful.
And would you say that that is an important point of egress in the event of an emergency, those blocked double doors?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah, because that's our living area. That's the area that the family is always in.
Is it pretty normal in your experience and knowledge for other comparable homes in your neighborhood to have modest decks to enjoy the outdoors?
Everyone around us has one.
Yeah.
And just for clarification purposes, you are looking for a 20-foot setback, correct? Not the 22?
We were
From
understanding
the,
it was 20.
the steps, looks like these steps here, according to this drawing, they're 20 foot from the property line.
Correct, because the property angles.
Is angles, okay. Just for clarification, we just want to confirm that it was 20 foot, not 22.
And then tell us a little bit, because one of the things we have to make sure that we're looking at is that it's the minimum size that is necessary to achieve what you want. So tell us a little bit about the size of the deck and how you want to be able to use it aside from the better stairs.
So the main length area is pretty much a hallway. It's 10 feet wide. The real usable area is the bump out area that is going to be our outdoor dining area, just a place to gather with the family.
And that area actually doesn't go as close to your rear property line as the steps that are
It does
coming
not
off of the
because
narrow
it's-
area.
Yeah, because the property is widening at that point.
It's a pie shape.
It's a quite uniquely shaped piece of property as well.
It's been a unique property.
Do you plan to put a grill or table or typical?
Definitely a table with chairs. We'll see where the grill goes. I don't want to melt the new place.
Yeah, we don't want it on there. Yeah, no.
12 foot of width there at the wing part, right?
Yes. I think that wing area, as you're calling it, is about a 10 by 12.
Right, yep. See nothing wrong with that? Any more questions?
No, it wouldn't be a usable deck if that,
Yeah.
to use her term, the hallway portion of it was shorter than 10 feet, and you've got to have a place for the table. And again, that wing is separate, is not as close as the steps are, so I don't have any issues.
And you have a railing around the whole thing.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
What's it for? How tall is the railing?
It's off the top of my head, but it should be specified in those drawings.
It's 3 feet.
3 feet,
6 inches.
pretty standard. Anyone else in favor of granting this application? Like to be heard? Let the record show there were none. Anyone opposing this application? We don't need to go into executive session. You have any more questions?
No.
Mike?
No, sir.
I guess we're ready for the criteria then.
Okay. Under 18-1-121C, there's certain factors that the board has to consider before granting a variance request. The first is the ability to use the property for any reasonable purpose, whether or not such purpose is desired by the appellant in the absence of the proposed variance. Did you all consider that factor?
Yes.
Yes.
You believe they could use it for any, can I get a little bit of commentary on that one?
I think that it is expected in this county that you be able to enjoy the outdoor portion of your property. And I think that it is reasonable that the sliding double door should be able to be, that was built into the structure, should be able to be accessed and utilized for safety reasons and for enjoyment of the home that they built. So I do think it would impede their ability to continue using the property without us approving this.
Agree with that?
The second factor is the degree to which the proposed variance will affect adjacent property owners.
There's no testimony of any.
Impact of the proposed variance upon the resource protection provisions of Part 4, Article 9, Chapter 18. If there will be any. No testimony was heard, I don't
Correct.
believe.
Correct.
The degree to which the situation might be more properly addressed by amending Chapter 18.
It's that's beyond our purview.
The, under 18-121B, to grant the variance, the board must find as follows. So the first of the set of factors considered, now there's findings to be made. One, that literal enforcement of this Chapter 18-1 would result in unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty as a result of the specified conditions.
Yes.
Yes.
Those conditions are peculiar to the property involved.
Yes.
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 Those conditions are not the result of any action taken by the appellant.
Yes.
Yes.
The variance will not be contrary to the public interest,
Yes.
Yes.
and the evaluation of alternatives proves the variance is required.
Yes.
Yes.
Finally, you have to find that any variance under 18-1-122A, any variance granted is no greater than an amount minimally necessary to every time I get stuck on that word, ameliorate the conditions giving rise to any practical difficulty or unnecessary hardship.
Yeah,
Yes.
I believe so. It's a
Yes.
modest and minimal sized deck.
That's your factors.
Ready for a motion?
All right. In regard to case BOA 25060222, I'd like to propose a variance to reduce the required 50-foot rear yard setback to 20 feet in order to construct a 22-foot by 36-foot deck to the existing dwelling.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I now declare this hearing to be adjourned. You'll receive a notice as soon as possible,
Thank you so very much.
Chairman,
a decision. as
Chairman
soon as
Dean,
possible.
members of the board, thank you very much
Our
for your
pleasure.
decision.
Unfortunately, you won't be able to start on it until you get that notice.
That's okay.
Right, that's
We've
okay.
waited 30 years. We can wait a little bit longer. Thank you again.
Sure thing.
Thank you.
Next one, please.
So, if I could
Am I
just,
trying to get in?
No, I think he's trying to close it and it's stuck.
before we get started, Chairman, I just want to just reiterate to everybody that if you could state your name and address, business address, before we start talking. We didn't do any of that the last one. I think video doesn't make it seem that we need it as much, but we still need it for the record. So if everybody could remember to do that, I'd appreciate it.
I now declare this hearing to be in session. This is case BOA 25030210. This application was postponed at the August 20th meeting, be continued tonight. We'll now hear from, well, we better, we've all taken the oath. We got to stand and take the oath. We're a little mixed up here tonight. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you are about to give will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Mrs. Maxwell, of all postings and notifications requirements been satisfied, and any matters relating to the jurisdiction of this board will now be heard. Let the record show there were none. And I was going to announce this, anyone wishes to testify in the matter must provide a name and contact information with Mrs. Maxwell. Department of Planning and Zoning will now be heard.
Mr. Chair, give me 1 second. We had some technical difficulties.
Oh, we were going to have any of that.
Jinxed it. Okay, sorry about that. I'm Steve Johnson, Senior Planner with Planning and Zoning. As Mr. Dean stated, we're here to discuss Project BOA 25-03-0210 for Washington College, who is proposing to construct a bird banding station and is requesting conditional use approval under 18-1-15C13 and approval for a duration of 18 months. This project was granted conditional use by this board back in March of 2024. Is since expired. There have been no changes to the subject parcel or the surrounding area, and the plan remains the same with the exception of a small shed that was added. They're essentially in here for an extension of a use, but the code doesn't make provisions for extensions. It's either you have a conditional use or you don't. All right. Project's located northeast of Kingstown, southwest of Crumpton, and north of McGinnis Road. More specifically, tax map 4, parcel 109 totals 415.321 acres and is located off of Round Top Road in Chestertown. The property is currently utilized as agricultural use. There is an existing tunnel for avian research on the site where the star is located. Again, there have been no changes to this area or the parcel. Property is zoned countryside and agricultural. As you can see by the location of the star on your screen, the proposed development is within the countryside zoning district. Nonprofit institutional use is a conditional use in the countryside. This property is completely encumbered by a rural legacy easement. DNR and the developer are currently working on developing an amendment easement for the siting of this project, hence the need for the increase in duration of approval. That may take some time, and I'm sure they're prepared to talk about that if needs be. The property is partially located within the Sensitive Species Project Review Area. DNR has indicated the Delmarva fox squirrel and FIDS habitat exist in forest areas on the property. There will be no disturbance within the Sensitive Species Project Review Area or the forested areas, and DNR has offered no objection to the project. 73.79 acres of the property are located in critical area RCA designation. There is no disturbance in the critical area proposed. And as you can see by the multitude of color on your screen, just about every natural resource in the county exists on the property. There is no disturbance to any of those natural resources either. To address forest conservation requirements, the applicant will place 0.73 acres of existing woodlands within the lease area into forest conservation, long-term preservation. Here's a wide view of the proposal. The bird banding station will be located on a 300-foot by 500-foot lease area shown in dashed white on your screen. Access shown in the circled yellow areas is taken from Kennel Lane through an adjacent parcel owned by the Grubers. A lease agreement and an access agreement must be recorded prior to site plan approval, and they may have already addressed some of these, I believe. Here's a closer view. The blue area that you see on your screen is where the avian tunnel is. I talked about earlier in my presentation. All countryside non-residential development standards are met with this proposal. That includes height, setbacks, floor area, impervious, and landscaping. The property will be served by a well and septic. Stormwater is provided on site and will be reviewed and approved by the Department of Public Works through the site plan process. And all required parking has been provided on site. Here's a view of what this bird banding station may look like from the drive looking west. And in conclusion, no agencies have reviewed this concept plan or offered objection to its approval, and staff does not object to the Board of Appeals granting conditional use approval subject to the conditions in the staff report. And with that, I'll try to answer any questions or turn it over to the applicant.
Any questions?
Yep, I remember this one well.
Yeah.
I do as well.
We're going to enter Exhibit 1 through 13. And Planning and Zoning staff report was by Mr. Johnson. And Ms. McFarland, it's your case.
Certainly. Good evening, Genevieve McFarland with Stevens Palmer, 114 West Water Street, Centerville, Maryland, 21617. I represent Washington College. We're before you again. As you said, you remember our case from January of 2024. I know it's been a while. We're going to give you just a kind of brief overview of where we are, what we're trying to accomplish. Currently, we are working with DNR and the landowners that are encumbered by the rural legacy easement to do an amendment to encompass the footprint of the research area that's going to be developed. While DNR determined this wasn't required, it was determined that it was best practices to have the amendment updated. I don't know exactly, but I believe there are somewhere around 40 different landowners. So as you might imagine, it is a lengthy process just to have the different drafts back and forth with DNR, and they have incredible counsel and are working collaboratively with Washington College's general counsel and myself to keep that moving forward. Accordingly, we couldn't get that accomplished in the year that we had with the conditional use approval. So we're back here today to ask again for that same conditional use approval for the 2,082 square foot building, the 570 square foot pavilion, along with the accessory of the 432 square foot trellis and the 80 square foot shed that will be put on this property. And of course, we're asking for a little more time than is typical with conditional use. Usually it's the 12 months. We're asking for 18. We are cautiously optimistic that we can not be in front of you again asking for another conditional use approval with an 18-month extension. So with that, I have Valerie Ambrose from Washington College who's going to give us a little bit of background on the project just as a refresher and for the record. And if you want to identify your business address for the record and your name.
Hi, it's nice to see you again. I'm Valerie Bruce. I'm the director for the Center for Environment and Society at Washington College, 485 South Cross Street, Chestertown, Maryland, 21620. I oversee the Foreman's Branch Bird Observatory, which is the program that is currently running out of a former pheasant shack with no running water and no indoor heat or cooling through fall, summer, and spring seasons with a staff of 7 people and various interns and visitors. To date, they have banded 350,000 migratory birds. We are in the Atlantic Flyway with a high volume of birds, species, as well as number passing through this area twice a year, and the banding station is situated and has been for 30 years, predating the college's coordination of the program by virtue of the landowner's interest in supporting this kind of research and then coming into collaboration with the college on it. Once that collaboration began, the college sought interest in building a structure that can house more students, can be a state-of-the-art research and education center with a small footprint in line with the Rural Legacy easement, and really showcase the work that's being done there to further this unique educational experience that people who visit can see wild birds in hand, and that's very unique. Certainly for a liberal arts college, it's unique, and for our region, it's a very unique asset that already has a lot of traction, actually, on social media. Our Instagram account for Foreman's Branch has more users and action than the college's account. They don't like to hear that, but it's true. Wild birds resonate in many ways and are really a gateway for environmental education and affection and conservation for our natural resources. So we're committed to this project. We're anxious to see it through. We meet regularly to keep the project going. This group that's here, as well as our general counsel and others at the college. Genevieve is accurate in her portrayal. Shall I go into that, or do you want to?
Go
Sure.
ahead.
Okay. So when we submitted the site plan and we got the DNR comments back, we were aware that the location of the research station where it's proposed, it's important where it's proposed because the mist nets that catch the birds have been there in that sort of diversity of habitat for the entirety of the program. So for continuity of the data, we want to keep the station proximate to where the mist nets are. On the easement itself, it shows 2 other research locations, and so we had an email approval from a prior employee at DNR stating that we can move forward this way with this research location. And this was a surprise during the site planning process where the group now at DNR says, well, we have to look at this. We support the project, but we have to look at codifying this a little bit differently. We can't honor this letter that you had by email. This person is no longer with us, and we don't have record of how he came to his decision. So that was the surprise for us that shifted our timeline from the initial conditional use that we had, and then we entered into conversation both with DNR staff and their counsel at the Attorney General's office, our counsel, and then the great array of landowners and leadership at Grasslands Property. Like Genevieve said, at first, DNR said we don't need an amendment. We were trying to move that route because it would be more, we could expedite the process more by not having to go through the formal amendment process. But the landowners felt that wasn't in their best interest for long-term sort of security of their property. And so we are fully cooperative with their wishes. We're now, shifting to have an amendment text drafted. That's been done. We've had 2 back and forths with DNR. In fact, our council met yesterday with the team and said we're very close. And when she says that, I believe her. So we, like I said, we're working diligently. We have the plats redrawn. We have the amendment text near finalized with DNR. We have our partners at Grasslands Property, the representation for the landowners, assuring us that they're ready to get all the signatures. Where Genevieve's overseeing a title search to make sure there's no sort of surprises, that we're getting everybody that needs to sign the document signed. The lease that we have for this site has been recorded. So we're anxiously awaiting these final steps so we can submit it through the site planning process.
Do you believe 18 months is a sufficient amount of time?
I believe 18 months is yes. I
there a
mean,
reason we
time
can't increase that to
time seems to
24?
take on a different form in this project, but we're cautiously optimistic.
Something in the code.
Sure, I would just
We
like
have done
to,
extended approvals in the past.
So would it be more comfortable if we extended it to 24 months?
We
Does that-
advertised it at 18.
Oh,
18 months. That's right.
so, is there anything else you'd like to add?
We're committed to the project. We're really, looking for your approval and support, and I'm happy to answer any other questions.
All right, and so next I'd like to call Kevin Sharon from DMS and Associates. If you could identify yourself.
Sure.
and-
I'm Kevin Sharon, DMS and Associates, PO Box 80, Centerville, Maryland.
Can you give us just a refresher on the property and the project as submitted on the concept plan?
Sure. The lease area is, as it was mentioned before, 300 by 500, which is just shy of 3.5 acres on the overall parcel, which is 415 acres. The access is through private property, private lanes, and those agreements have been signed. They have not been recorded, but they've been signed. So really, everything is in place. Since we were here before you the last time, we have done the engineering for the site plan, submitted a minor site plan that then went through the county review process, and then that's when we got the DNR comments. So from our standpoint, we've kind of been, on hold, other than our weekly meetings. But yeah, so the site has not changed since you saw it before. It's just been, it's been designed at this point with landscaping, stormwater management, sediment control, and the like. So once we get past the DNR amendment, then we will resubmit to the county planning and zoning and proceed with the minor site plan process.
Great. I'm going to just run through the 18194 criteria. I know it's redundant, but I just want to get this onto the record. All right. Will the proposed use at the proposed location be consistent with the general purpose, goals, objectives, and standards of the comprehensive plan in Chapter 18.1?
Yes, it will.
If granted conditional use approval, will there be any substantial or undue adverse impacts on the adjacent property, the character of the neighborhood, traffic conditions, parking, public improvements, public sites or rights-of-way, or other matters affecting public health, safety, or general welfare?
No, and I would like to remind, it's probably in the file, there was a January 19th, 2023 conditional use application cover letter that went through the responses to all of these, so I won't bore them, but I'll highlight some of them. So for B, the location of the proposed use is isolated from adjacent properties and will not have a negative impact on the surrounding areas.
And will the proposed use at the proposed location be adequately served by and not impose an undue burden on any of the required improvements referred to in 18.1 of the code?
It will not impose an undue burden on any public facilities, utilities, or other services. The facility will be on private well and septic.
That's all I have, unless there's anything else you wanted to,
I don't have anything to add.
okay. In terms of, I just want to make sure that letter.
But thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say.
Was that part of our current application?
That was probably the original.
The original
Yeah.
one, okay. Can we submit that letter? Thank you.
Yeah, there was a letter at number 11, but it's not what he was referring to.
I would like to submit this as applicants 1.
14.
Be 14.
14.
You just,
I would like to move that onto the record, please.
Yep. For the record, you're aware of and have no issue with the three conditions noted on the staff report?
3 conditions being the lease be recorded, that has been done.
So it was, any remaining edits or documents required by a reviewing agency, Department of Public Works or Planning and Zoning to be reviewed and approved prior to site plan approval was number 1. Number 2 is, the amended rural legacy easement must be recorded prior to site plan approval. And number 3 is the lease and access agreements, which you mentioned, must be recorded prior to
No issue with any of those conditions.
Anything else?
That's all.
Anyone else in favor of this application? Like to speak? Let the record show there are no one here. Those opposing? Let the record show there's no one. Yes, we're ready for the criteria.
Okay, so under 18-1-94, to approve the conditional use, the board has to make certain findings. I would ask you all to briefly look at this letter and make sure that you can adopt what's in it, and then we can do this.
Agreed.
that's the same letter from last time, correct?
Yes.
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
You
look
wanna
at it,
see
look
it?
at it, Craig, real quick.
Yep.
Do you recall
Same.
it?
I do recall it,
Okay.
yes.
All right, so.
When you're done with that, I need to add it to this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So under 18-194, the first finding the board has to make that is that the proposed use at the proposed location shall be consistent with the general purpose goals, objectives, and standards of the comp plan. And this chapter 18-1, are you adopting the
Staff report?
the staff report and the letter exhibit 14, where it goes through the reasons
Yes.
that
Right.
are that it in fact is consistent with the comp plan?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then number 2 is the proposed use at the proposed location will not result in substantial or undue adverse impacts on adjacent property, character of the neighborhood, traffic conditions, parking, public improvements, public sites or rights of way, or other matters affecting the public health, safety, and general welfare. Same question. Are you adopting the staff report comments and the letter
Yes,
to
and yes.
indicate the basis for that finding?
Yes.
And also would add that there's been no testimony otherwise.
The proposed use of the proposed location will be adequately served by and will not impose an undue burden on any of the required improvements referred to in Chapter 18-1, Part 7.
Again, same.
Yes.
Incorporating
Same
staff
Incorporating,
report
adopting.
and the letter.
Yes. Under 18-1-123B, the board has to make the following findings to approve a conditional use: that the conditions concerning the conditional use as detailed in this Chapter 18-1 exist.
Yes.
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 The conditional use conforms to the comp plan. I understand we already said it, but it's a new
Yes.
section.
Yes.
And the conditional use is compatible with the existing neighborhood.
Yes.
Finally, under Maryland Annotated Code Land Use Article 1-303, the board must include certain consistency findings. Again, I know these might sound redundant, but bear with me. Board's approval of the conditional use must further and not be contrary to the following items within the comp plan: its policies,
Yes.
the timing of the implementation of the plan,
Yes.
timing of development,
Yes.
Yes.
timing of rezoning,
Yes.
Yes.
development patterns,
Yes.
Yes.
land uses,
Yes.
and densities or intensities.
Yes.
That's your findings.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're fine.
Got a motion?
Yep. Okay, in regard to case BOA 25030210, I'd like to make a motion for conditional use approval for a bird banding station comprised of a 2,082 square foot main building, 432 square foot trellis, 576 square foot pavilion, and an 80 square foot shed. And further, to approve this for a duration of 18 months. All of this subject to the 3 conditions as listed in Planning and Zoning Staff Report.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
And now declare this hearing to be adjourned. You will receive a formal decision as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Hopefully, we won't be back on this one in 18 months.
Amy called us. She should have never said we'd have technical difficulties. No, it was fine. Just
That's all she's gonna do if you guys wanna use them. Okay.
Yep. We're done.